Hey, y'all,
Welcome to Two Babes in a Book with Liz.
and Reach. In every episode, we give a quick summary, our thoughts, and content ratings for each book to help you decide if it's the right fit for you. Keep listening for a complete book discussion. Don't worry, we give you a heads up before any spoilers.
Be sure to leave us a review on the Apple Podcast app or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And feel free to follow us on Instagram at Two Babes and a Book. For today's book banter, we will be discussing all things Sarah J. Maas. We looked it up how to pronounce it because we were like Mass or Moss.
That's one.
Which is it? So when I say all things Sarah J. Maas, I mean the limited knowledge that we do have of her, but it's a budding, relationship that we
Yes,
are
I
having
like
with
that.
her and her books, especially because, the Court of Thorns and Roses budding, get it? Oh my
Oh,
God.
I like
I didn't
it.
even
Put it
do that
on.
on purpose. I love a good pun. Anyways, yes, we are gonna be talking about A Court of Thorns and Roses, also known as ACOTAR. We're gonna be
Mhm.
talking about the first book as well as the second book. And how far into the third one are you?
I'm like
A
29.
quarter,
Yeah, I'm actually about a quarter.
a
Yes,
quarter into it. Okay.
yes. So the second
So
one is
two and a
called
quarter.
A Court of Mist and Fury. I had to like look at my bookshelf right here. And then yeah, the third
Nice.
one I'm a quarter in and enjoying it immensely. So
And the third one is A Court of Wings and Ruin.
yes.
Ooh, look at that. Look at me go.
Good
And
job.
I'm going to briefly talk about the Throne of Glass series. Now, I have just started the series, as in I'm reading the prequel to the series, which some people say you should read before book one. So she
Oh,
does like a
book
point
two is
five.
the prequel?
Okay, yeah. So actually, Rachel, I haven't talked to you since I
Okay.
discovered this.
Okay.
I got confused. I thought my coworker was saying, "Oh, you got to read the second book first." Like I thought, because the name of the prequel is, oh shoot, what is the name of the prequel? The Assassin's Blade.
Okay.
So I knew it was part of the Throne of Glass series. I
Mhm.
thought it was like book two or three, and I thought my friend was saying, "You got to read this one first." And then dive into book number
Mhm.
one. And I was so confused. I was like, why would the author write them out of order? Why would she not? Anyways, but then I looked on Goodreads finally and I was like, oh, it's a point five, which authors do that all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like, so this one was published after the first two books in the series, or is it three?
Oh.
Anyways, we'll get into that later. And so I've read most of the prequel, The Assassin's Blade, which it's fine. It doesn't spoil anything in the first book. And people
Okay.
say read it first or you cannot read it first. It's up to you. So,
Gotcha.
um, and it's like a compilation of short-ish stories, like novellas.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't either until I started listening to
Oh,
it.
because I've seen it all over TikTok, like the Assassin's Blade. So I didn't realize, yeah, I've seen like the cover and people talking about it, but okay.
I know. So I definitely learned something new. So we're going to be kind of just touching on Throne of Glass, but mainly discussing ACOTAR. Um, and really quick, Rachel, I heard someone compare these two, or you know how like A Court of Thorns and Roses is kind of like a retelling, like Beauty and the Beast retelling.
Uh-huh.
Well, someone compared Throne of Glass is like a Cinderella type of retelling.
Ooh,
And I was
okay.
like, oh, that's
I like
interesting
that. Are they
to think
related?
about.
Like, are those two series like interconnected a little bit? I thought
No,
they're not. Okay.
I'm pretty sure they're not completely different worlds.
Okay.
One is more like fast-paced fantasy. The other one is like high fantasy in the
Uh-huh.
fae, like, the
Yeah.
fae genre. So I don't think there's any connection. I
Okay.
mean,
Gotcha.
I'm seeing some similarities with the
Yeah.
main female characters between the two a
Right.
little bit.
Okay. Makes
But
sense.
anyways, so I just want to kind of say those two things before we read the synopsis of
Awesome.
ACOTAR. But yeah.
Moss. I've been saying mass for a long
Moss.
time. So I'm like, I gotta remember it's moss. Okay. Well, I will read. Okay, so we don't want to spoil book two for people. So we'll save that to the spoilers, but we're gonna talk about, I'm just gonna read the synopsis on A Court of Thorns and Roses. And then I guess not synopsis. That would be a whole thing. What is that called? What is the thing on Goodreads?
Summary?
Thank you. Well, is it the summary?
Wait, is the synopsis different than a summary? Because I thought synopsis was just another word for like, this is what a book is about.
I
But
think
maybe I'm wrong.
a synopsis I always think of as like it's very thorough. Like it's putting it, it's more detailed,
Oh,
like this happens and then this happens. Whereas this is like the back reading the back of the book. So it's what is that called? Oh my
I
goodness.
would say summary, but that's not what
I
you're like.
guess
Okay,
so. I guess
I've
so.
totally been using the word synopsis wrong then.
I don't know. I'm gonna look up. Well, I'll look it up later. I'm not sure. I could be using it
Tangents,
wrong.
tangent alert,
Another
tangent
tangent.
alert.
Okay. So the summary, I think
The
summary,
blurb.
the blurb. We're actually, it might be blurb. We're gonna go with blurb. I like that. Okay. So, side note, this was the Goodreads Choice Award. ACOTAR was the nominee for readers' favorite young adult fantasy and science fiction in 2015. So this is 10 years later that we're still talking about it. That's pretty,
Dang.
yeah. So when 19-year-old Huntress Farah kills a wolf in the woods, a terrifying creature arrives to demand retribution. Dragged to a treacherous magical land she knows about only from legends, Farah discovers that her captor is not truly a beast, but one of the lethal immortal fairies who once ruled her world. At least he's not a beast all the time. As she adapts to her new home, her feelings for the fairy Tamlin transform from icy hostility into a fiery passion that burns through every lie she's been told about the beautiful, dangerous world of the Fae. But something is not right in the fairylands. An ancient wicked shadow is growing, and Farah must find a way to stop it or doom Tamlin and his world forever. So from best-selling author Sarah J. Maas comes a did I say that? Yeah, I said it right. Comes a seductive, breathtaking book that blends romance, adventure, and fairy lore into an unforgettable read. So, what did you give this book?
On Goodreads, I gave it a 3.
Oh,
But
okay.
I'm thinking it was like a 3.5, but since
Mhm.
Goodreads doesn't do point,
So annoying. They need to
so
stop
annoying,
that.
but whatever.
3.5.
Yeah, I gave
Okay.
it a 3 because I liked it. I did like it and there were exciting parts, but I think the problem was I was like finally reading something that everybody was obsessing about and talking about.
Mm,
So there was like this huge expectation. It was just
yeah.
so blown up that I was like, wow, this must be like absolutely amazing. And it just
Yeah.
was okay. Granted, this is also not my favorite genre
Right.
to
Mhm.
read, but the audiobook was pretty good. And I do remember like feeling overall entertained
Uh-huh.
by what I
I
was
feel
listening
like
to.
I mean, it's been years. Like, I mean, I read this in 2023, and I think I read it after you, right?
Yeah, I
So
read
you
it
read
in
it a while
22.
ago. Okay. So, I feel like you told me that you like zoomed through the first one and you enjoyed it, but the second one you kind of like fizzled out a little bit. Was that the case?
Oh, I actually liked the second one better.
Oh, okay, so reverse.
Although for some reason the yeah, it was a reverse. It was
Okay.
reverse.
Okay.
Because the first one I was like, okay, this is interesting and super exciting, but I felt like it was so long. Maybe that was part of it. It was so
Mm,
long
yes.
and just not, I wasn't like super into everything that was going on. I was just like, this is good, but it's not like earth-shattering good. Like I don't understand the hype.
Yeah.
And then the second one, I was like, okay, I can kind of understand the hype.
Hmm.
But I got really muddled down at the end of the second one. I was like, what just happened? And I was on the fence. Like the ending was
Uh-huh.
just really intense. It's not that the ending was bad, it was just so intense.
Uh-huh.
And I just kind of fizzled out. I didn't continue the series. I was like on the
Yeah.
kind of like how I am with Fourth Wing. I'm like on the
Uh-huh.
fence about it.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it, so I'm just gonna take a pause. And so
Yeah.
still pausing.
You
Um,
haven't read Onyx Storm, right? The newest one?
no.
Okay. Have you just read the first one?
I read the first two.
First two. Okay. So I haven't read any of those. So
I
you're ahead of
know.
me.
They're so good. I just the language. Yeah, the language was
Yeah.
a lot. And the sex scenes were a lot
Oh,
too
yeah.
for
I've
me.
heard that too. Yeah. So for me, Court of Thorns and Roses, I gave it a 4.5. So in my little my blurb, I said so good, giving it a 4.5 stars instead of a 5 just because it was quite dark and bloody, but that's personal preference. It all served to further the plot, though. I was very hooked and wanted to know what happened. Pretty spicy, definitely adult, not young adults. So I remember thinking with the first book, because I'm with you, I actually enjoyed the second one. Oh, no, I don't know. I have mixed feelings. So, first one, she spends a lot of time in a certain location, a lot of time. And it was just, it felt so dark and oppressive when she is in that location, and it just lasted forever. And I was like, this is still happening? Like, what the heck? Um,
Yes.
that was hard for me. But then at the same time, I got bogged down in the middle of book two, and I gave up on it like a year or so ago. And then I went back and tried it again, and I got really sucked in. And so I think I just wasn't in the frame of mind to get into a fairy world. Like, you have to be ready to, like, for your brain has to be ready. And I, at the time, I think I was going through a lot. I don't remember what it was, but it was just like my brain was like, I can't handle this, but I'm in a better
Yes.
spot
Yes.
now. So yeah.
I feel like you need to if if you most people that love it, like they are all in, they want to just immerse themselves in this
Right.
world and in the story.
Yeah.
And it's like a really great story, you know? And there's a
Mm,
lot of exciting things that happen and really great elements. Like she's a good writer.
yeah.
But it is kind of a lot of layers to like get
Yes.
into and a lot of commitment, it feels like. And yeah, it's high fantasy. There's like so many characters and things going
Mhm.
on.
Yeah.
That's why I've waited all these years to get into Throne of Glass, is because I've just been like kind of intimidated by it because it just feels like there's a lot to dive into.
Yeah. And I
Um,
think Throne of Glass, are they longer than the series? Do you know? I'm
so
not
there's
sure.
7 primary works, and then she's got the novellas, prequel.
Oh, okay. So I
Yeah, so there's
wonder how
7 main
long,
books. So it is longer than ACOTAR. Um,
but like the book
ACOTAR,
itself, like one
oh, the
book.
books themselves. Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Does it say it on Goodreads how long these books are?
How
I
many
feel like it
pages?
does. Yeah. Let's see. I thought if I clicked on something, it should show me.
Oh, it
Okay.
does.
Oh, yeah.
So you go into the
419
series
pages.
details.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. So
Let's look at
419 pages, and then A Throne of Glass. Is it Kingdom of Ash? Is that the first one?
I think the first one is Throne of Glass. Oh,
Yep.
wait.
You're right. Throne of Glass. Yeah. I don't know why the other one was coming up. And that one is 406. So it's equivalent. Yeah, it's the same. Equivalent. Did I use that word right?
Yes, the same, equivalent.
Equivalent. Okay, good. I was like, that sounds weird. Okay,
Don't you
so
love it when that happens when you say a word? It's like, that didn't sound right.
that wasn't right.
So there's several little prequel books. I wonder if they're all novellas, or I don't know. But wow, there's a lot here. So the Assassin's Blade says it's point 1 to point 5, and that was published in 23. But then there's other little books like The Assassin and the Empire. Oh,
Hmm.
I understand. Okay, those books, so these little tiny books, like The
Uh-huh.
Assassin and the Empire, The Assassin in the Desert. So The Assassin's Blade is all those little books into
Oh,
one book
inside. Okay, that
inside
makes
of
sense.
it. Okay, that
Mhm.
makes sense. That's why it's like point 1 to point 5.
I
I
was
was really confused.
confused. Yeah.
I was
Okay.
confused about that. Yeah, so there's 5 stories, which makes sense. 5 stories in The Assassin's Blade, and they each have like their own title. And they're each about an hour and a half long, an
Okay.
hour to an hour and a half long. So
Okay.
right now I've gone through 4 out of the 5 of them. And so these characters are going to be in the main storyline. And she
Oh.
wrote them after the first 2 books.
Okay. So some people read the first two books and then this prequel, or
Yes.
okay.
Some people recommend doing that or reading the prequel and then going into the series. But
Okay. I struggle with that. I struggle when there's like, you could read it in this order or this order. I'm like, nope,
Me
I don't know what to
too.
do.
Yeah, I Googled it. I talked extensively about it with my coworker, and I've been like, it's not that I don't trust you, friend, but are you sure?
Well, that's how C.S. Lewis with the Chronicles of Narnia, like there's chronological or there's publication date. And so I just have
Yes.
gone by what he recommends. And a lot of books, okay, so usually it's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And then Prince Caspian is the second one, right? Or is it Prince Caspian and the Dawn Treader? Where is that? I don't remember where that is. I reorganized in here. I don't remember. But yeah, there's I think Prince Caspian is the second one for a lot of people, but then actually like the way that C.S. Lewis recommended to read it was different. And so we as a family were reading The Horse and His Boy, and we never finished it. I think we tried to start it. It might have been during homeschool even. Like I think it's taken us forever and it's boring. I don't really like
Oh,
it.
well, that's
It's
why.
I know. So
That's
I'm
why it's
like,
taking you forever. Oh.
yes. But I'm like, I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, that just confuses me. I was like, well, I'm gonna do what the author recommended, but I'm like, I think the publication date, I think the author recommended chronological. I think that's what it is. Because publication date, the second one is the Prince Caspian. So I think we
Okay.
need to throw in the towel and be like, guys, we're gonna start over. That's
I
hard
feel
for
like no matter what you do, like it's gonna still be a great story. I think
yeah,
people think too
that's true.
much, too hard about it, really.
Yeah.
Including like us right now.
It's
We're
a good
thinking too hard
yeah,
about it.
but even as we're talking, like my stomach's in knots. I'm like, oh, but I just
Which order? What do we do? I know. And I did go to Sarah J. Maas's website and they recommend, I'm pretty sure they recommended reading The Assassin's Blade after book two. I'm pretty
oh,
sure. But they
interesting.
said also, if you want to read it first, it doesn't spoil anything from the first two.
Okay.
So you would be okay if you read it first. So I like how they added that for people like
Yeah.
us, where we're like, but well, are you sure? Or like, what if some people are telling us to read it? Why? So I can
Right.
see how people, fans would be like, yeah, read it first because it sets up characters. It introduces you to characters that you're gonna
Yeah.
be introduced to later. So that's
Uh-huh.
kind of cool.
That's true.
But I can see how it would be interesting to like read the main story and then go back and learn about these characters.
Yeah.
It just depends on people's personal preferences, I guess.
Right. And remind me what your friend said to do. Their friend said to
She said
do it this
Assassin's
way.
Blade first.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So you went with her recommendation. That makes sense.
I did.
So you're drinking the Kool-Aid.
I am partaking of the Sarah J. Maas Kool-Aid.
I love
Oh,
it.
I have a question for you. Would you watch, if they made this a TV series, which I'm pretty sure they will someday, are you gonna watch it?
Qatar?
Yeah,
Yeah.
ACOTAR TV series.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be a
You're
yes.
like, what do you mean? Yes.
Is that a question? The problem is, I'm sure they'll throw in a lot of sex. So it's like I'd have to get like VidAngel or something because I'm like, I don't need to see that. I just want,
I know. That's the thing I was worried about is the content. Like, it's gonna be a
yeah,
raunchy TV show.
right. Okay. Speaking of that, let's go to content ratings because
Oh, yes.
I was talking to a friend about this. How like there is this like presupposition when anyone sees these series and they're like, oh, they're just fairy smut. That's what I've heard, right? And I was explaining to my friend, I was like, it's like, okay, so it's a 400-page book, right? Is there like one scene in the first book? Like, do you remember? Maybe there wasn't even any scene in the first book. I think
Sex
it's the
scenes?
second. Yeah.
Oh no, there are with Tamlin. Her
Oh,
and
okay.
her
Oh,
and
yeah.
Tamlin.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. But it's not that many. Like, it's like when you look at 400 pages, it's
It's
not like just
yeah,
all
and
throughout.
we've talked about this before. Like, okay, there's so many different levels of smut.
Right.
Like, some people might consider this smut, and that's okay. That's their comfort level. Like,
Yeah.
that they can consider it smut. Doesn't mean that it's not. It doesn't mean that it is. I don't know. It's just such a subjective thing. Yeah, because
Yeah.
there's so much happening in the plot.
It's
The whole
so,
thing is
yeah.
not about fairy sex, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's
And
a romantasy,
yes, focus on
but it's
the romance part, and there's a lot of
there's a
fantasy.
lot of buildup, there's a lot of angst.
Yeah.
and she does it very well.
Yeah. It's
And
very well
then
done.
there's a love triangle later that she does really well. And there's a lot of conflict and there's lots of other movement, other plot things.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like not the center of it. But I think the reason everyone thinks that is because it's a young adult and it had like an open door scene.
that's
And it was a
true.
young adult, so it got like
Yeah.
so much heat for that
Is
and
it still
attention.
listed as young adult? Because I think that I feel like they changed it. Like they were trying to put it into new adults, quote unquote.
Oh,
But
yes.
that's not really a thing. Like no one really got into it still says young adults.
And is the whole series young adult, or is it just the first two?
But the first two have sex. So I'm like, I don't think so. It says on Goodreads, young adult and also new adult. So I think they need to remove the young adult section because there's no way I would let my teens read this.
Yeah.
Like you need to be ready for sex. Like, oh, it's way too much. So yeah, interesting.
Young
Um,
adult. Yeah, that is interesting. Mm.
Makes me
Yeah, so
mad.
that was like very controversial that it was young
Yeah.
adult and still had like these sex scenes in it, even though it's not the whole book.
Yeah, I
But I
agree
mean, I guess I would still probably give it like a 4.5 out of 5
with
first. Oh,
the
wait, the first one though? Maybe the
I
first
can't
one like 4 out of
remember.
5?
So you like went over like you kind of like went back and researched, right?
Yeah,
Uh
I did a recap. I listened to a couple podcasts about it,
okay.
and I know that there's um at least a couple of at least one full
Okay.
on like open door sex
Yeah.
scene. And then we're another time she's talking about it, how she wants to do that. And
Uh-huh.
then at the end of the book, there's a little like leading up to that moment scene in a
Mhm.
broom closet or something
Uh-huh. Man, I don't
with
remember this.
Tamlin. I know it
Oh
was
wait.
really nice. It was very needed to have a recap of everything because I forgot a lot of the stuff. So I'd probably say a 4 out of 5. And
Yeah,
then I'd
I
probably say
agree.
5 out of 5 for the second book.
Okay. Yeah. Second book, definitely. I read that more recently. It has a lot. But once again, when you look at the like percentage, it's not a ton compared to like everything that's happening. In fact, there's so much that happened. That's why I gave up on the second book because I literally thought to myself, I don't care about these characters. Like, I don't care about this war. I don't care about like I just was like, I don't really
Oh,
care. I mean, if it was just like scene after scene of that, I would be like, okay, like that's a lot. But like I had the thought like there's so much going on that like I can't handle it, right? So um like so much like war stuff, and like the political intrigues and everything. I just was not prepared. But
yeah, so much happens in the
yeah.
second book, like politically
Yes.
speaking.
Yes. It's a
And then
lot.
I've heard there's a lot of war scenes in the third one.
Oh, so violence. And I haven't gotten to the war scenes yet, for the third one, but violence, I would say like 5 out of 5. Like I feel like Court of Thorns and Roses was so violent.
That's true. I think it
Don't you
was
think? Like,
because that really bad lady that's in it, like she was
oh,
very icky.
yeah.
And some of the things that she would say and do, and like her necklace with the human's eyeball. Didn't she have like a necklace with
Oh,
like
yeah.
some,
I think it was a ring, right?
oh, was it a ring?
Yeah.
I don't, okay. Yeah, I would say 5 out of 5. And then
Yeah.
drugs and alcohol.
But what about
Oh,
violence for the second one?
second one, I don't really remember violence for the second one.
There are some. Oh, did not finish. Maybe we'll later. Okay, I need to remove that. I have one book on Goodreads, DNF, maybe we'll later, and it's Court of Mist and Fury, but I've finished it, so I need to remove that from that shelf. Yeah, the second one, there's stuff, but it's nothing compared to the first one. So I maybe say like 2 or 2.5 out of 5.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's not
And then
nearly.
language, what would you say? Do you remember language for the first one?
Yeah, okay. So this is what I think we've talked about this, but they use the F word when it comes to having relations. And
Oh,
that
in a young
bothers.
adult book.
Yes. Yes. Like this is not young adult. That is that. No, 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 no. It's not.
Yeah,
So maybe
yikes.
like
Okay.
3 out of 5 for that. 3.5 out of 5. Like
Okay.
once again, lots of pages. So it's like if you have an F bomb in there, but it's like throughout the book, 400 pages, it's not, every other page. And
Yeah.
so it's not
It's not
like,
like Fourth Wing.
yes, that's what I was going to say. It's not like that at all. Like it's a smattering.
I mean,
So,
Fourth Wing is very adult. This
and,
is
and they don't like,
somewhat adult, but it
yeah,
was put into young adult, which is what we have a problem with. Yeah.
yes, exactly. And then drugs and alcohol. I feel like there's a lot of drinking.
Yes.
Um,
Maybe
Definitely.
4 out of 5
Yeah.
or 3.3 out of 5 because I don't
Yeah.
know if they talk about drugs, but they definitely have a lot of drinking happening.
Right. Yeah. So I think that's it, right? Violent
I
sex.
think so.
Mhm.
Bottom line, if you would like to drink of the Kool-Aid, be prepared for the flavor of the Kool-Aid, what's in it.
Be prepared for the
I like
flavor.
the
I love
Kool-Aid
that.
theme. I'm not sure about the Kool-Aid yet. I think it's fairly enjoyable and entertaining.
But you were actually reading her other series, like you've started that.
Yes,
So
and I've been intrigued for a while. I do want to, because I feel like I would like Throne of Glass better.
I've
So
heard
I'm wanting
I've
to
heard
try it
it's
out.
better. I feel like my massage therapist was telling me that. Like we talk about books and she was saying that that the yeah, that series is better, even better than
Yeah,
ACOTAR.
and the first two or three are very young adult, like
Oh,
um,
good.
closed door and everything. And
Uh-huh.
then the later books in the series are more like spicy scenes. Like, and that's when she
Gotcha.
was writing ACOTAR. So she kind of started off very mild with the
Okay.
sexual content and
Mhm.
then
Then exploded.
um kind of exploded more there. But like, yeah. But I feel like Throne of Glass maybe is like more tame and like less of the spice, which is good. So
Okay,
yeah.
that's good to know. And I gave A Court of Mist and Fury 5 out of 5. So even though I dropped it, I went back and finished it. Like it just goes to show you that sometimes a book may not be like you may not be ready for a book, but that doesn't mean that you'll like it. You won't like it later on. Because
Sometimes
I
you just need to like put it aside and
yes,
revisit it later.
yeah,
Exactly.
because I'm not like unlike Liz, fantasy, I was very into it like growing up. And so it's but I for a long time I wasn't reading it. And so now I'm back as an adult reading it more. And I mean, okay, even as an adult, because Mistborn, I got you to read Mistborn. I love that one. That's fantasy.
I
So
did like that one.
yeah, yeah. But it took you like, what, 200 pages to get into? Is that what it was?
About 200 pages, and I
Yeah.
was like, okay, this is getting better.
Which
I gave
yeah, what did
I
you
gave
give
a
it?
court I gave a Court of Mist and Fury a 4.
That's pretty good.
So I did like it better than the first one.
Yeah. And okay, that sounds right. Obviously, I just got it reversed. But I've heard that it just gets better and better. So I'm excited. Like, and I can kind of see that because the world is established. Because like the first book, you're getting to know all these characters, but then the second book, you're getting to know the Night Court and all those people. So I think it was like, oh, I just finished reading this first book with all these characters and then a whole new set of characters I'm supposed to get to know. Like, I'm not ready for this, So the
Yes.
third, like, there's not a ton of new characters. There's a couple so far, but like, not that bad.
And they're
So,
like finishing up the story, right? Like
yes.
Farah's story and her
Mhm.
story arc and all that. Because there's
Yeah.
three main ones about Farah, and then there's like a short story or like a novella type of one
Yes, about her sister. Wait,
about
there's
Elaine.
actually four. Oh, epic third novel.
And then Silver Flames is about Nesta.
I
Okay,
think A Court
so
of
A
Frost and
Court of
Starlight.
Frost and Starlight. What is that about?
That's the one about Nesta. That's 3.5, I think. Let me click on it. Um,
No, I think it's about Elaine.
oh, is that one
Hold
about
on.
Elaine?
I want to say that's about Elaine because Court of Silver Flames.
That one's about Nesta.
That's about Nesta and someone.
Okay, I clicked on A Quarter Silver Flames and the language is in Arabic in the
Oh, that is
blurb.
not helpful.
Like, why
And
is
then
this in Arabic?
she's working on a book 6 right now,
Yes.
and people are speculating who it's about. Um, Maybe
Oh,
Lucian. We can't really say much. We can't really say a lot because we don't want to do like
oh
have
yeah.
spoilers. But
I think you were saying maybe Azrael, who's introduced in the second book.
oh, maybe
Were you telling me
him.
that or someone else? Oh, I think someone else was telling me that.
Yeah, I think someone else, but
Oh, that's funny.
but I have heard of that as an option too. But yeah, the short one, I
So
want to
I
say one of the podcasters that I listened to recapping the story, I thought they said Elaine, but maybe not. Maybe people are
it
hoping the
was.
new book is kind of about Elaine too.
Oh, I don't know why I
Because,
keep.
Silver Flames was like Nesta. So maybe people are wanting to know more about.
So how long is Silver Flames? Because it's so is it a trilogy and then because
It's
there's
272 pages.
okay, Court of Silver Flames. So Court of Frost and Starlight. So it's really the trilogy, and then they've got a fourth book and then a 3.5. Okay. Okay, I know. Court of Silver Flames is about Nesta because my friend was telling me Court of Frost and Starlight is just like a little mini book, kind of like a Christmas special type book. So it's just about all of them.
Oh,
So Court of Silver Flames is about Nesta, and I've heard it's like super nasty. So like that one probably is very smart. Um, wait, no,
yes.
that's 757 pages. No.
Which one?
Okay. Yeah, this maybe it's the fourth. Look how thick that one is. So I think there's
Whoa.
four big ones. Oh, this one's about Nesta.
Yeah, that's the one you were just talking about. This Court of
That's
Silver
so
Flames.
thick.
I know.
757 pages.
What is happening in that whole book besides fairy sex?
That's all I've heard is that like that's the main thing. Because like Sarah, okay, so here's a Court of Thorns and Roses, which I remember reading it and being like, that's so thick. And then a Court of Mist and Fury is even thicker. And then the pink one is just as thick, if not thicker. It just gets bigger and bigger. It's like Harry Potter. And then
Yep.
this one is teeny, the Court of
Oh, that's
Starlight.
cute.
So
And I like the covers.
me too. I like those. Okay, so I can't tell about. So I guess a Court of Silver Flames is Nesta's, but I can't tell you
Yes.
more because it's in Arabic. I guess I could read the back, but I don't. I don't know. I don't read Arabic. I'm sorry.
Because it's in Arabic. I was thinking you'd be like, because I don't want to spoil anything or avoid spoilers. And you're like, because it's in Arabic. That's why.
That's why.
All right, should we go to spoilers?
Let's do it. All right. Okay, so spoiler time. Can we talk
Yeah, I
about
guess.
how did you feel initially about Farah like going toward Rhysand? Did you feel betrayed? Did you feel like what the heck? You spent a whole book. Okay, can you tell? I'm thinking this is my opinion. Is that like
You mean
you're
like after she almost got married and then she
yes.
went with him
Well, just in general, like why did Sarah J. Maas have me read a whole book and fall in
about
love with
Tamlin?
Tamlin, and then it's Reese, like which who I love now. I'm all about Reese. But how did you feel about it? Did you feel betrayed?
No, because I didn't really love Tamlin at that point, and I think Sarah Moss did a good job, like kind of turning people off of Tamlin when he didn't really do much for Farah under the mountain.
That's true. I kind of
Which,
just
granted, maybe he didn't have much of a choice, but like, it's like he was under her spell, or it's just, if you
yeah.
felt you wanted more from him, like you would think from
Yeah.
his character and his love for Farah that he would have been doing more, something.
Yes. I agree.
So you're
That's
like,
true.
why aren't you fighting for her in any way? And like the first chance he gets to talk to her, I know this because of the recap I listened to. The first chance he gets to talk to her, he like pushes her into this closet or this corner and tries to like have sex with her, like right away.
True.
And it's like, I get it, you miss her, you love her. It just feels more like lust. versus
Yeah.
like where's the emotional connection that you guys had? I don't
Yeah.
understand. And like Feyre is still in love with him at this point. And like she's fallen in love with him and because that was part of the plot, right? She had to
Yeah.
like say I love you to him and she didn't and then she came back and everyone's gone. Anyways,
Yeah.
but it's like he just didn't it didn't feel like he was fighting for her.
Uh-huh.
And I just honestly, when I was listening to it, I was like not attached to any of the characters. So I
Mm.
didn't feel I can see how you would be upset if you were really attached to Tamlin. I
I don't
could
know
have
if I
cared
was
less about Tamlin.
super.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I didn't really, that was part of my problem. I didn't like love the characters. I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, this is an interesting plot and this is like, the pace is pretty good.
Yeah.
This is intriguing. But like, I just cared less about the characters.
Hmm.
Rhysand was interesting and like
Yeah.
sexy character. Like, I don't
Right.
know. He was honestly the best character in the
Hmm.
book.
As you see later too in book two and
The
yeah.
end of the book was so good though, how
Book
he
two?
the book one, the end of book one was really good, like on top of the mountain or something or outside and she sees him and their eyes meet and he like stumbles and then he disappears or he gets like shocked.
Oh
And she
yeah.
was like, "What the heck was that?" And he like fell over and he disappears. Or he goes someplace else because
He
he can
falls on the ground.
or I don't know if he falls on the ground, but he kind of like is shocked about something and like
Uh-huh.
loses his footing slightly. And then he
Oh.
like transports to whatever,
And then you
wherever
find
he's going.
out like not until like most of the way through the second book why. It's because he's
What he was experiencing.
yeah.
Yeah. So Pharaoh's left to be like, what the heck was that? Yeah, and the way the second book starts out, I think is really good too. It starts out with her about to get married
Yeah,
and she's like panicking. Like they have I guess the second book is kind of hard too because she has like such PTSD, which is
that's true.
realistic. She's very
Yeah.
traumatized.
Hmm.
And then Talon's like, well, let's get married. And she's like, what? Okay. And so she's
Yeah.
like having a panic attack. And R- Reese, can we just call him Reese? Do you call him
Yeah.
Reese?
I
Reese comes,
reason. Yeah.
crashes the wedding. And so it's like such good conflict. I feel like
Yes.
it just started out so strong and
Yes,
like just
agreed.
picked up where it left off, kind of. And
Yeah.
I like how they wrote notes to each other
I
after he taught
know.
her to read, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, I
I
forgot
was like,
about
how did
that.
they,
Yeah.
I liked the note writing, but I
Uh-huh.
was like, oh yeah, I guess he had to teach her. Like I liked how like Tamlin wanted to squash her powers and just
Yeah.
protect her, and he was very smothering. And I liked how Rhysand was like, well, we have to bring out all these strengths. We have to like help
Yeah.
you learn how to fight so that you can protect yourself. Like he
I
like wanted
love
to
that.
magnify her strengths, and Tamlin wanted to like smother her strengths.
Hmm. Tamlin wanted her to be like this pretty woman next to him and I love that Reese makes her a high lady and people are like that's not a thing and she's like well now it is like because it's not in the fairy world like it's the high lord there's not a high lady and like Reese is so good at balancing out like he protects her and cares for her and loves her but then he knows when to back off and let her do her thing and I'm like oh you're the perfect man.
Yeah,
Or sorry,
because
perfect
it's
male. Does that's kind of weird because they're always like they never say man or woman. They're like male or female because they're fairies. Like, have you noticed that? They never,
no, I didn't
yeah,
notice that.
they
That
always
was
say
funny
male or female. Like if they're talking about fairies.
because they're not human. I get it. I get it.
Exactly.
Yeah, like he elevates her,
Yes.
but he still is protective and like
Yeah.
masculine. Hmm.
I love it. I love it. And the fact that
So you went through like a mourning phase with
I
Tamlin
did,
then.
I
Like
did.
you had a hard time.
Yeah. Like,
I
and
do kind of remember this. You're like, I love Tamlin, Tamlin, blah 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 blah. And I was like,
yes,
okay, yeah,
I did
because you were
fall in love
Marco
with
Poloing me.
him.
I was like, just keep reading. Okay.
Yeah, I think I did fall in love with him a little bit, but now that I see like Resand, I'm like, okay, I can see that too. I just feel like usually when there's a love triangle, like you can kind of tell like which one they're gonna go for, or but like in this one, there wasn't really a love triangle until book two. Like book one was like her and Tamlin. And
Uh-huh. No
so
question.
yeah. And then yeah, the first inkling I had that Tamlin wasn't going to be the one was that I remember looking up because I did love Tamlin and I looked up fan art to see like what people like thought he looked like and there was barely anything of Tamlin but there was all this stuff about Resand. I was like, what the Talon, the main guy? Like, what? Not excited about Talon.
You're like, what does this mean?
No.
What do you mean there's hardly any yet? Because everyone hates him and calls him tampon.
Terrified. I'm so glad. Can I just say, Liz, I'm very proud of you for not spoiling it. You did so good. Well done. Well done.
Thank
Pat
you.
on the
Thank
back.
you. Marco Polo helped. I mean, if it was a live conversation, I don't know
Yeah.
how well I would have done,
I
but
would have been like, what are you not telling me? But then
the
don't tell me.
delay in
But what are you not
conversation
telling me?
really helped. I was like, oh, yeah, I played Switzerland. I was very neutral. I was like,
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. So Liz is in her car now because Rachel's Wi-Fi went out. Rachel, aka me.
So random. I was like, oh, she froze. And usually when that happens, it just fixes itself within like seconds.
Yeah.
No, no, you continue to stay frozen. I'm like, what's happening?
What's wrong? So,
So sad.
anything else we want to say? Because Liz is gonna go teach her lesson at church. But anything else we need to cover for this Sarah J. Maas? Oh no, did it freeze again?
Freedom.
Okay, there we go. Now I can hear you.
Yeah, but I'm here. I went through a tunnel that I would like
Oh,
to add. Is that what the question was?
a literal tunnel? Like that's not just like I don't want to talk to Rachel. Ugh, I'm breaking up.
No, it was a literal tunnel. I promise. It was an actual tunnel.
Yeah, I was just asking any other things that you wanted to bring up. I mean, these are this is we're covering 800 pages. You know, it's a lot, but anything that like, made you mad or that you loved.
I from two books, right? From
Yes.
both the books.
Uh-huh.
I would say I loved the scene at the end of the first book, which we already talked about, and then I loved the wedding crashing
Yes.
and the letter writing, and I just can't stand Nesta. Like I
Yeah.
don't understand how she wrote a whole. I mean, there's got to be good qualities to her.
There has
People
to be.
and is this a spoiler if we talk about who likes Nesta? Is that a spoiler for?
I
Well,
don't
we're in the
think
spoiler
so.
section, but like, is that a spoiler for the third one? No, they talk about it in the second one, right? Is it
Yeah.
is it Cassian that really
Yes.
likes Nesta?
Yeah, it's Cassian.
Okay, because I was trying to remember like the buddies, I guess,
Uh-huh.
like the inner circle. I had to review who they all were.
Yeah.
Like is it Amryn? I totally
Uh-huh.
forgot that that was a girl.
Oh,
I thought
really?
Amryn was a boy. It
You might
sounds like a
have
boy.
you might have confused her with Azrael or Azrael. Azrael, I think.
Yes, you know what? I think I did. Oh my gosh, there's like no parking over here except a parallel parking job, which I'm so great at.
So do a
I'm not.
podcast in parallel park at the same time. Go.
Woo! Here we go. I found a normal parking spot, so I
Oh,
can do
good,
this.
good.
Yeah, and Azrael's like really attractive, right?
Yes, very attractive and very mysterious. He has like shadows around him all the time.
Is he like the quiet one?
Uh-huh. He's the spy.
Okay.
So
And Amryn is like really old, but she looks young.
yeah, she's like thousands and thousands of years old. Like in book 3, Lucian meets Azrael and he's like it's interesting. I want to like know what she looks like, but he tells Farah like she exists. She was told as like a bedtime story to like keep me from, um disobeying my parents or whatever. Like that's like she's like this mystical, really powerful being that people didn't think existed. So
Wow.
interesting.
Interesting. Okay, and who's
Yeah.
more again?
She's Reese's cousin and she's blonde and
She's
she was
beautiful, of course. Like everybody's attractive in this book,
of course, yes.
except the
And
cereal.
yeah, exactly surreal. And she was engaged to one of Lucian's brothers and then she went and I think she slept with Cassian. just so that she could like lose her virginity. And then when it's because like that was like very prized. And then when
So
that
she
when they
did it to spite other people. Like she was like,
yes,
I'm gonna go lose my virginity on my terms.
yes. And then she was nailed to a tree or nailed to like a fence by her dad, who was like in the night court. And he was like, okay, she's not my problem anymore. You come take her. And she was just left. Like, the Lucian's brother didn't come and get her. So yeah, he, it,
And Lucian is from the court of Autumn, the
yes,
Autumn
but
court, right?
he's like an outcast. He left it because his dad
Is a douchebag.
killed his brother. Sorry, his not his brother,
Mom,
his lover.
kill. So whose lover? Lucian's?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh
And I
my
don't remember
gosh.
why, but yeah, he killed her. And the person who killed Lucian's mom, I believe was Reese. Because there's a thing with Reese and Autumn Court. No, no, I'm thinking Reese and Tamlin's. So like Tamlin killed like Reese's mom, I think, and dad and sister or something. And then Reese came and killed Tamlin's family. Anyways, there's a lot of feuding between those two.
Oh, lots of
Yeah.
family baggage, lots
Yes.
of friendship. Okay, that's why they hate each other so much.
Yes.
And on top of that, they like the same girl.
Uh-huh. And they don't realize because Valaris, remember the city Valaris that he protects? Like no one knew that it existed. Like they kept it secret. He like got their like erased everyone's minds that like knew about the existence of the city. So Amarantha wouldn't come and take over Valaris. So it was like this beautiful place.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it does sound beautiful if I remember correctly.
Yeah. It reminded me of like Italy or something, like somewhere in Europe.
Is it dark all the time? Is it like nighttime all the time at the night
No.
court?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah, but they have an under the mountain. So the night court is like in that sense, they have like it kind of reminds me of like Hades, where like people, it's like the underworld and it's just like debauchery and just, not good things and underneath. And Reese has this like whole other presence when he's there. He's like the bad dude, but then he's also like the savior of Valaris and those people. So it's interesting.
Oh, okay. So
Character.
besides Tamlin, who's your favorite character in the series so
Besides
far?
tablet, you're mean.
I'm just teasing. I'm teasing. Besides Tampon, who do you love in the series?
Tampon.
Rachel's buddy.
I love the whole night court. Like I love their
Mhm.
relationship and their camaraderie. Moore is pretty cool. I like her.
Yeah, you love like the found family piece of it
Yeah. What
with
about you?
Feyre. I don't know. I guess Resand, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, of
If I
course.
if I
Yeah.
had to pick, I mean,
Naturally.
but
But I agree.
as
I
far as a
don't
supporting character, I remember Cassian being kind of funny.
uh-huh. Yeah.
So I guess Cassian. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've read it, obviously. So I'm trying to remember like their personalities. But yeah, it
Yeah.
is fun. Like, yeah, like this tribe of people that are really good
Yeah.
friends and they fight together and they
Mhm.
have each other's backs and they're
Yes.
all insanely good looking.
Of course.
So
I mean, I want to be part of that. Like, turn me into a fairy. Sounds great.
give me those fairy ears.
And I agree. I don't know how they're gonna make Nesta redeemable.
Likeable.
Yeah, likable. Like she
You
just
also talk to someone. Do you know anyone that's read it?
yeah, the one person that I know said that she didn't understand why, like she didn't like it. She couldn't understand why Cassian liked her. So I'm like, ooh. But it's only one person. So
She's
and
that bad
she
girl, sexy bad girl, mean girl vibes.
maybe, yeah, maybe that's what it is. Because she's very strong. I'm curious to see because so far in the third book, so at the end of the second book, she like pointed her finger at someone and like froze them, or I can't remember what it was. Like not froze them, but like had some kind of power like manifest itself. And so in the third book, they kind of said like, oh, like Cassian has actually tried to train her and she refuses. And I think everyone can tell she's got like some sort of power, like more than she's letting on, but she's not. It's kind of like Farah when she was in PTSD mode, like she like was refusing to lean into her powers.
Oh, so
So
I wonder what it is.
yeah. I gotta say the most impactful scene for me was when Farah collapsed because she was trapped because Tamlin trapped her in the house and then like it was more that came in and picked her up and like left.
Oh yeah.
Like
I
that was
vaguely
just
remember that.
it was just so like oh you just feel for her because she like literally implodes slash explodes.
And
Like
where's Tamlin during this? Like, is he off working or
I think
doing his
yeah
day job?
yeah something like going to the village or I don't know. He was like worried about her getting hurt and so he like refused to let her leave and just locked her in
Yeah, that's like not a healthy relationship that you love someone so much. You just want them locked away in your house
the
always.
exactly. And I kind of forgotten about the whole beast aspect, but yeah, that makes sense. Like lock her in. But in Beauty and the Beast, he lets her go. So Tamlin didn't.
Yep, there's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's tampon.
Tampon.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say I will read a book. I would read a book about the other sister, Elaine. She
Yeah,
sounds very sweet, like
she does.
a little airheady, maybe, or like,
Yeah. Just very, very innocent.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
She's just a more likable character. I mean, anyone's
Yeah.
a more likable character than Nesta. She is nasty. Nesta is
Right.
nasty on
Nasty
multiple.
Nesta. That was probably, yeah, there's really on purpose. Nasty Nesta.
Oh my goodness.
Oh. All right. So you probably got to go, but
Yes, unfortunately.
it's all good. I'm glad we were able to reconnect. It was my fault. My dumb Wi-Fi. So,
Dang. I'm glad that we were able to get back on though, to like,
yes.
because you can't just end on that. We can't
I
end
know.
on when we cut off.
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm just looking at my script here.
You're good. All right. That's all for today. Make sure to comment on Instagram at Two Babies in a Book to let us know what you thought about, or if you like Sarah J. Maas. Like, have you drank the Kool-Aid? What do you think?
Do you like the Kool-Aid?
Do you like the
Make
Kool-Aid?
sure to tell, do you like us? If you like us, please, please
Please.
leave a review. If you like the Two Babes in a Book Kool-Aid, drink, and then I need you to talk about it and tell your friends about it and rate us on Apple Podcasts because that really helps us out. Now, remember, in the words of Holbrook Jackson, never put off till tomorrow the book you can read today.
Thanks, y'all. Now go stick your nose in a book.